Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, December 6, 2022. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We can see where the major significant feature across the Atlantic is that trough of low pressure to the northeast of the Caribbean, and we're going to be going into more details about that as we proceed. But before we look at that, let us take a look at what happened across the island of Jamaica for today. We still have that northeasterly flow of winds from the windward passage between Cuba and Haiti coming in across the island, and as such we still have a lot of clouds producing all of that relief rainfall, especially across portions of northern Jamaica, so sections of St. Mary, St. Ann, Portland, and some of that have been spilling into portions of some southern parishes. And tomorrow there's nothing different. We're still going to be having that northeasterly flow according to both models, the Euro and the GFS models, averaging from anywhere between 10 to 25 knots. Not to mention the cool air, the below normal temperatures across the Caribbean. Some persons in the low-lying areas have not been feeling it that much or any at all, especially during the daytime where it's so hot with the sun out. But there have been some persons, especially in Mandeville, we know that Mandeville is a hilly area, who have been feeling the cold air, who have been feeling those below normal temperatures. I even have some friends with their thermometers telling me that it has gotten all the way down to 17 degrees Celsius, especially at night time into the early morning hours. And this is going to be continuing. We still have both models predicting below normal temperatures, below average temperatures for the next 5 days. That's the next 120 hours according to both models, the Euro and the GFS. We know that Mandeville is all the way up on a hill. Okay, so those areas are definitely going to be feeling it, especially some northern parishes. As we can see on both models, we still have those below normal temperatures to receive all the way up to Sunday. Not to mention the rainfall, the relief rainfall that comes with all of this northeasterly flow. So we can have anywhere from 0.1 to almost half an inch of rainfall across portions of northern and eastern Jamaica according to the Euro. The GFS is more focused on portions of Portland and St. Thomas, getting all the way up to the same 0.5 inches of rainfall. So it makes sense that our workers here at Weather Jamaica made a post stating that northeastern Jamaica or northern and eastern Jamaica should be receiving more rainfall all the way up to 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Okay, alright, moving on. Let us take a look back at a significant feature map. We've been talking about this trough. First it was a trough, now it evolved into an area of low pressure, and that low pressure area is, intensifying somewhat. So the US National Hurricane Center is keeping a watch on it. It's not anything as yet. If we actually take a look at the visible satellite images, we can see it right there spinning its way. We can see that westerly flow on the south side of it, and then that northerly or easterly flow on the north side of it. Most of the activity seems to be on the northern and eastern side of it, especially considering all the wind shear coming in from the west. So we know that it's December. We would have a lot of wind shear. We don't have little wind shear to cause quick or rapid intensification, so that is expected. Before we even talk more in depth about that, let's talk about the rainfall across the Caribbean. We can see where we have some isolated showers coming in from the north across Puerto Rico. We don't have much in the way of rainfall across the eastern or central Caribbean. We still have a little rainfall across portions of Belize. No problem there. Let's talk about the wind direction for tomorrow across the Caribbean, shall we? First of all, look at this wide view showing from anywhere from 25 to almost 70 knot winds associated with that area of low pressure, and it is causing that kind of flow into the Caribbean, a northerly flow. Still have that northeasterly flow across portions of the Greater Antilles, a northerly flow across portions of the Eastern Caribbean, and this is showing on both the Euro and the GFS models. Before we go more in depth about that system though, let's talk about where it will rain across portions of the Caribbean for tomorrow. So as stated, portions of Jamaica, according to the Euro model, will be seeing some amount of rainfall across portions of northern Jamaica. The Eastern Caribbean seems to be getting a break. Northern Hispaniola could be getting in on some of the rainfall. Northern Puerto Rico could be getting in on some of the rainfall. But where is the rest of the rainfall going to be located? Look right here across portions of southeastern Trinidad. Look at this part here and portions of eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica. Okay, that's according to the Euro. Where's the agreement? Where's the consensus? Same thing across Jamaica on the GFS, across Hispaniola, northern Hispaniola on the GFS, across northern Puerto Rico on the GFS. Not so much on Trinidad, so we shall see what actually takes place there tomorrow. Will the GFS win or will the Euro win? Either way, we still have that rainfall in consensus with what the Euro has stated across portions of Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. So we know that the chances of it actually happening, taking place, are much higher. Alright, so let us take a look at the area of focus, that area of low pressure that could develop into something in the month of December when hurricane season is finished. Look at where it's located, right where that L is. And what do we have? We have a lot of wind shear there. And if we actually take a look at the next 120 hours, the next 5 days, yes, it will be situated in that wind shear, but it still has a chance of developing within the next 5 days, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. Wind shear is not the only factor that contributes to the development of these things. So yes, it will still be embedded in all of that wind shear. If we want less wind shear, we'd have to have the white. If we have the dark blues or the greens or the yellows or the reds, lots of wind shear. So it will be battling some wind shear, but it still has some good going for it. A lot of warm sea surface temperature anomalies across portions of the subtropical Atlantic right there. So it has a lot of fuel to suck up. Yes, we still have a lot of dry air across the Atlantic, but it is not that robust. We don't have some crazy Saharan dust blowing in from Africa or anything like that to limit its development. And it has a lot of cloud and wind field around it associated with that low pressure. So it has a lot of things going for it that would support development. And if we actually take a look at the forecasted track according to the geopotential height map, we can actually see where another trough that's going to be pushing into portions of Western Europe all the way along the northern portions of this high pressure, and then in turn across the next 120 hours will continue to push that system that we've been talking about, moving it towards the northeastern Atlantic, maybe even getting into portions of Western Europe maybe sometime next week. And if we actually look at the forecast by the Euro and the GFS model, yes, the millibars go all the way down to 970 something. That could be a strong tropical storm. Let's hope that it doesn't develop into any robust hurricane, and not necessarily a tropical storm, but it would be a subtropical storm. So it has a lot of subtropical characteristics. It's not too far south in the Atlantic for it to be tropical. Okay, so definitely something to watch. It will be given a name. Here's another person on Twitter that we need to follow. His name is Tyler Stanfield. He was one of the persons that I've been following for a long while on Twitter, and to find out that he has recently become a National Weather Service meteorologist is a very big deal, because he actually followed his dream and became that meteorologist. If you're a man shop, he could be working for the National Hurricane Center very soon. Who knows? Either way, he says, calendar says December, but non-tropical low Invest 99L in the Central Atlantic could become subtropical storm Owen before reaching cooler waters. Favorable jet dynamics coupled with above normal sea surface temperatures, just as was stated, could aid in STCZ. What's that? The same thing that was just mentioned. Subtropical Cyclo-Genesis, as warm seclusion occurs over the next 48 hours. So just like what I said, all of the warm waters are gonna be in this system's favor. Despite all of this wind shear, it is spinning. It is large enough that something could happen to give it the name Owen, and it is not out of the question. Look at this. Look at where we're at right now. It's December 6th. we can still have some amount of activity. It's at the bottom of the barrel, but it's not impossible to have activity in December, and we've had that happen before. So it makes sense that the US National Hurricane Center has given this system a 50% chance of tropical cyclogenesis, of subtropical cyclogenesis, in next 5 days as it continues to move to the direction of the northeastern Atlantic. Let's hope it doesn't affect the Azores Island or anywhere in Western Europe that drastically. Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. Please ensure that you guys like the video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.